Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. How are you beautiful people doing? Am I muted? No, I don't think I'm muted. Welcome, welcome. I am doing wonderful. How are you? You know what? Let me make it public. Let me make it public so that our guests and our everybody can see. Let me make it public. Let me make it public. Let's go make it public. Let's go make it public. 1, 2, 3, edit. All right, let's go make it public. Make it public. All right, it's public and everybody can share. And welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui, and some people call me Little Boy. But if you're from the 767, Whitey Kubuli, tall is her body, the Commonwealth of Dominica, you call me Luku Boy, not Little Boy, Luku Boy, Jala Pointe, St. Luke's Parish. So I'm so excited tonight, man. If you were going to miss my show, you should have missed it last week or 2 weeks ago or last year or 5 years ago. Tonight, for Women's History Month, I got this awesome woman with me tonight. But before we do that, you can see her name scrolling. Before we do that, let's get a little preliminaries. You know what? I think the first thing I'm going to do is play my theme song. Let's play our theme song so that everybody can get a little excited. Let's play our theme song. You don't have to be a star to be on my show, but I got a superstar tonight. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence, wherever you're watching from. Florida, I got Duval in the house. Welcome. Woo! That's my baby sister singing right here. Come, family, come.
Family, come as you are, with just your heart, and I'll help you win. Are you rejected or hurt? To me, your worth much more.
I don't need no superstars, but I got one tonight.
Now I don't need no superstar, 'cause I'll accept you as you are. You won't be denied, 'cause I'm satisfied with the help that I can provide. You don't have to be rich, family, to be on my show. You don't have to have a million, family, to be on my show.
Boom, that was my baby sister all the way in Atlanta, Georgia, singing Miss Maynard Thomas, telling you don't have to be a star. You don't have to have a million to be on my show, but I got a superstar on my show tonight. But just before we start, I want to look at something here. For some of you who are concerned, are we going into a recession? Because this is a financial show, right? So let's see. The Dow Jones was down 478.23 points. The NASDAQ was down 32.23 points. And the S&P was down 42.49. So a lot of you all are taking a beating in the markets. I've heard that y'all's boy there, Mr. Tesla, has lost about 91 billion or 100 billion so far for the year. But my clients have lost zero, because zero is the hero. I have a friend right now. I was chatting with them today. 2 weeks ago, their 401k was at 236,000. Now it's at 215 or 212. They lost 27,000. I know it's book losses, but my clients never lose a penny because I'm the safe money guy. So the show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. I have a very special guest tonight, and I want to tell you guys a little bit about her. I met her for the first time at a legacy meeting years ago. She probably didn't know who I was because I came with my upline, Mr. Barry Thomas. And, she was, I didn't know her, but she was a nice lady. But as I got more acclimated with American Classic Agency, the company that cares, as you can see above here. You know, we interact. Like even like yesterday, I was, you know, every time I send a text and I say, "Hey Diva," she know I want something because I need work done, right? I need something from her. But she is a diva. She's a boss, and when I say boss, I don't mean it as someone who's like bossing you around. Someone who's accomplished, you know, a lot in her career. Some people, you know, don't stick to it, but she has that. You know, she's originally from, well, she'll tell you in a minute. But just before I bring her on, I must try to get unmute. I'm going to unmute her because I want to give her the time. And for those who are watching, let me give a shout out. I see some people. If you put your name in the chat, I'll give you a shout out. Felicia, Lisa Starr, good evening. How you doing, partner? Alvin Vassar, welcome, Petersburg, Virginia. I see Elizabeth Bardui, my cousin in Brooklyn, New York. How you doing? There's a lot of other people watching. I don't know who they are, but they're going to have to say hello. If you say hello, I might be able to give you a shout out. I know her family's watching. I know her beautiful daughter's watching. Her beautiful daughter's giving me a great tip. You got to listen to the young people, man. Whatever they tell you to do it. But ladies and gentlemen, let me cue up this song. I'm going to cue up this song. I've already unmuted her. I'm going to cue up this song so I can get her on the show. I got to cue up this song. Turn the volume up. You all know this song? 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 Yeah. I want to dance to it. Nah, it's not for me. There she is. There she is. Give her a solo screen. Woo! Erika! I'm so real.
This is the intro song of all intro songs.
Naturally. Woo! Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me cut it off. You know how Facebook be acting. Let me cut that off. I don't want to block that. Erika, I'm so real. Freeman, how you doing? My business
Good
partner.
evening, H.
You doing
Good
all right?
evening.
Welcome
Yes.
to Tuesdays with Terrence. You were on last month for like 5 seconds because it was my 5-year anniversary. I'm going into my 6th year of Tuesdays with Terrence. Every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, streaming live on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and also on LinkedIn. You know,
Yes.
I'm so excited that you've decided to join us tonight. There's people who are starting to watch. I can see that because I can see a lot of people starting to watch. That must be your people. They're here to celebrate you. I think your pastor might be watching, and your colleague, and your daughter, and your friends. So, Erika, I'm so real Freeman. I know I'm listen, Erika knows that I talk a lot, but tonight we're going to have a candid conversation. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on. It was great celebrating you last month for your 5-year anniversary. And so I appreciate that you invited me to be a part of your show on tonight. Doing well. Glad to be here. Super proud of you. Thank you very much.
That's all you're going to say? Say more. No, I'm just kidding. But on a serious note, it's Women's History Month. And I had to bring you on because, you know, you've accomplished so much, you know. But I want to say hello to Peach Goodwill, our business partner there watching. She said, welcome, Miss Erika. And there's a lot of other people
Hi,
watching.
Peaches.
You know, and like I said, folks, if you guys say hello, I will be able to give you a shout out. So, Erika, you know what? I'm going to give you a solo screen, and you have about 2 to 3 minutes to tell the people, you know, where you're from. I know you're from Duval, I think, but, you know, you're going to have to elaborate and tell people what Duval is. But I'm going to give you about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm going to give you a solo screen to introduce yourself to the people. You don't have to say, currently, I'm on 222 Main Street in Tallahassee or 525 East Street in Jacksonville. But tell us where you're talking to us from tonight. Tell us a little bit about you, where you grew up, and then I'll ask you some more few questions. But just tell us a little bit, about 2 to 3 minutes to tell the people, introduce the people to you so they know who Erika I'm So Real Freeman is. There you go.
Yes, so I'm Erika Freeman. I am a native of Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised. I grew up in the Arlington area. I graduated from Terry Parker High School in 1990. I currently live in Tallahassee, Florida with my adult daughter, Jordan Hannah. Anyone who knows me knows my baby girl. I'm in Jacksonville a lot. My church home is still in Jacksonville, Robert Mount Pisgah AME Church in Atlantic Beach. But right now we are worshiping in Jacksonville. I am one of three that my mom had. I have an older brother, Corian Freeman, and a younger brother, Fletcher Freeman III. I'm the only girl, but I am the boss, and they know that. My mom raised the three of us on her own, but we were blessed to have aunts and uncles on both sides, on my dad's side and my mom's side, that supported us and encouraged us and that have been in our lives forever. And so even though our parents have passed on, they continue to love on us and nurture us. I'm grateful for that. I've been at American Classic Agency as of last Thursday for 25 years. And it's been quite a journey. It has been a blessing. For some people, they wouldn't stay on a job that long. It would be boring to them, but it provided stability for me and allowed me to be able to help raise my daughter and get her to the point where she's at right now in her life. So, and then I got to meet someone like H.
Yes. Yes. People like, why is it called Tuesdays with Terrence? And she keeps saying H. Well, professionally with my colleagues, I go by H. H is for Havis, as you all know. But Terrence, Tuesdays with Terrence is the name of the show. But I want her to call me H because that's how they call me. But you know what, Erika? You know, you from Duval. We were down there in January. And,
Yes.
you know, it's Women's History Month. And the reason why we're celebrating you is because over the years, I've come to admire you. I mean, what I like, I want to tell you three things I like about you. You may or may not know it. But one is, on Facebook, you're Erika ImSoReal Freeman, and you are so real. You don't play. When I say you don't play, you play. We can crack jokes, but you're serious. If someone's out of line, you check it. And number three, one of the most important thing is, people think that you are not friendly, but you're actually really, really friendly and helpful. But you got to come correct. You can't just come anyway. So tonight, we want to celebrate you as a woman of substance, a woman in the financial services area. And as of last week, you said, or 2 weeks ago, you've been with American Classic Agency for 25 years. As a matter of fact, you are vice president of communications. 25 years is a long time on a job. I wasn't even born yet 25 years ago. But you know what? The important thing is that you stick to it, and it shows your resiliency, sticking to what you do. I know you're an alumnus of the Florida State
University. That's right.
I'm from Boston, so I'm a big Boston College fan, and the Eagles. But over the years, you guys used to smack us like that. We beat you guys a couple of times, but I don't hate Florida State. I mean, Neon Sanders, Charlie Ward. There's a whole bunch of other guys I could name. But I don't hate them. I only hate them when they play Boston College.
Right.
But you know what? With that, I see you post a lot of stuff about Florida State, especially when the games are on. But let's get to some seriousness questions here. Mm-hmm. You've been with American Classic Agency for 25 years. Can you tell us how you got the job and how you've grown over the years? I mean, tell us a little bit about that. How did you feel like back in the day, 25 years, people used to look in the yellow page, not the yellow pages, but the Sunday paper for jobs. Now you do that on LinkedIn. So tell us a little bit about that, ma'am.
That is exactly how I found the job listing. They were looking for someone to head their lead generation division. And the place that I was working at was a private-owned finance company for manufactured homes. And I had been there for a while, started as a temp while taking some classes towards a second bachelor's degree in public relations. I had an assignment to basically come up with a public relations plan for a company. And one of the bosses saw me doing my homework at the in the kitchen where I used to take my lunch break. And he was like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I got to come up with basically rebrand a company." So he said, "Well, use our company." And I was like, "Okay," I didn't think anything of it. And he gave me all this information. And so I put it together and I did my presentation and got an A on it and came back to him with all the information because he asked me what my grade was on the project. And I told him I got an A. And he went in and talked to his boss, who was his dad and his brother. And his brother was actually a graduate of Florida State as well. And they came back out and they offered me a job. And
Wow.
I was only working that job as a temp because I was in school again. I wasn't sure if I was going to stay in Jacksonville or what I was going to do. And they offered that job to me. And that is what got me into marketing and advertising. My degree is in English, creative writing. I was supposed to be a middle school English teacher. And but once graduation came and I started seeing how children, other people's kids acted, I was like, let me do this temp thing and figure out what I want to do. And so that got me into business. And then after working there 3 years, I kind of felt like I couldn't see myself being there another 3 years.
Right.
And I was like, I got to look for something else. And I really prayed a lot. My closest aunt, my Aunt Joyce, everyone knows Aunt Joyce. She was like, you pray about it. Whatever it is that you want, you pray about it. And I prayed about going for the interview. I prayed about being at the interview and what to say. Mm-hmm. And it went well. I met Jerry Policastro, and I honestly didn't really remember what all he said to me.
The rest is history, right?
But the rest is history. And I have to say, my career at ACA has been very fulfilling. I have learned a lot. I've met a lot of unique people. We've had some stories. We've had some scary times. We've had some ups and downs. Mm-hmm. But through everything, I used to always say, I prayed to get this job and I prayed to keep it. And even 25 years later, I still do that every single day, because some people are constantly in a state of flux because they don't know what their profession is going to be or where they're going to end up. So staying on a job 25 years, for me, it worked for me. Some people, it doesn't work for them. And that's their choice. But like I said earlier, it's provided me to be able to be stable for my daughter.
You know, for those of you who came on late, I want to say welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. My special guest is Erika ImSoReal Freeman. She's Vice President of Communications at American Classic Agency, the company that cares, my IMO. And we are celebrating her for Women's History Month. I mean, she was on a couple of weeks ago for my 5-year anniversary, and she did a great job, but I thought we should celebrate her for her accomplishments. I want to say welcome to Rosa Gonzalez and Carolyn Haynes. I think those are your people.
My sister.
Hey, sis, how you doing? Mr. Troy Holt in Pensacola, Florida. You know,
hi, Troy.
And there's many others watching. You know, my special guest is Erika Freeman. She's Vice President of Communications at American Classic Agency, the company that cares. And Erika, you know, as a woman, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that. You know, you're African American. You know. Because I'm originally from the islands, I like black, you know, I like Caribbean. But in America, for the melting pot it is, we're African Americans. And I think it's important that in our industry, we recognize women, especially women of color. At our IMO, I think we're about 55 to 60% women, and they're killing it. And what I want to ask you is that if there were women considering a career in financial services, especially nowadays, you know, what would you say to them? I mean, I know you got to do the stick to itness like you did. You've been there for 25 years. You're now VP of communications. But what would you say to young women, middle-aged women, any woman, even men or anybody, but let's concentrate on women. It's Women's History Month. Why women should get into the financial services field?
Well, it provides you flexibility. it is now a job that can be done remote. It can be a lot safer for you than 10 years ago,
Right.
and definitely 20 years ago.
Agreed.
You know, back when we used to generate mortgage leads, you get a random postcard from someone and they fill it out, and then, you know, we put the leads in your hand and you got to go knock on somebody's door. And usually those appointments were evening time appointments in somebody's house. And so now, you know, one of the blessings that came out of the pandemic is that people are more in tune with doing appointments by GoToMeeting or Zoom. Back then, early on, it was Skype. But then too, this industry, women have a need. Not that men don't, but a lot of times women don't have a retirement. A lot of times women haven't been able to, especially if you're a single mom, you haven't had the opportunity to save a lot towards your retirement. And what we educate our agents to present to consumers who are underinsured is how they can take a small policy and turn it into building a legacy for their children and their family. So for anyone who's at that crossroads, maybe you want a part-time income, or maybe you want to try and learn something new, or you need to add something, another stream of income into your household. If this is a job that can be done part-time, one of our number one agents is a federal law enforcement agent, federal law enforcement officer, and she does her insurance business part-time, and she's one of the leaders in our company. So it can be done whether you are single, married, with kids, with little kids, adult kids. Sometimes you just have to ask your community and your family to get behind what you're doing and have them support you while you get your business up and running.
It's so funny you said that today on Live at 5 with our president, Mr. Anthony Stewart. He had LaToya Jackson on, who was a part-timer.
Yes.
You know, she was a part-timer and killing it. And now she came full-time with us. And she was actually our number one agent last year. So I think women need to consider the financial services industry as a place. I've said this to you all, and I'll say it again. If I was a woman, I'd be more successful. Because who does a dude want to talk to? A woman. An older person feel more comfortable? A woman. You know, a woman. You know, for example, if I was a woman, I can say, you know, October is breast cancer awareness month. I have two sisters who are breast cancer. I'll be like, ladies, the tatas, you got to get them checked. And I'll be talking to my girlfriends like that. And what I'm saying to you is, it's not just about helping women, it's about helping everybody. But I think it's a great career choice for women as well. I want to say welcome to Mr. Miguel Sorrent, all the way there in Maryland, and Zenith Carter in Atlanta, and all others who are watching tonight. My big sister in Boston, Miss June Bardui Ansem, and everybody else who's watching Tuesdays with Terrence. My special guest this evening is Miss Erika ImSoReal Freeman. I keep saying ImSoReal because she's real. She's real, you know, and she's an awesome person. And tonight we are celebrating her for her accomplishments in the financial services arena. You know what, Erika, sometimes people don't realize how important it is for them to plan. And that's what we do. You know, it doesn't matter if someone is in Alaska and Hawaii, if someone's in Florida or Massachusetts or Virginia or Maryland, wherever you are, you need to plan. And you just said, you know, some of our number one agents are part-timers and some of them are doing very well. But, you know, as a woman, you know, you've had some challenges in life, and men do too. But I know that, you know, back in the day, I know that, you know, I know this factoid, and you all can research it. African-American women are more educated than African-American men. Actually, African-American women, I believe, is the highest per capita educated people in the country, because you guys, you know, just, you know, some of you all was everything: mama, daddy, cousin, uncle, you know, coach, take you there. And I appreciate you for that. You have a daughter, Jordan, you know, who I've met, you know, beautiful young lady. But there's a story I want you to tell people. I know that we're celebrating you as a woman, but there's a story that I think, because some people have told me, women in Florida, in Massachusetts, in Virginia, South Carolina, I'm all over the world. I'm like a Jamaican. I'm everywhere chasing business, right? But the thing about it is this: women sometimes feel like, well, I'm not married, or I'm single, I don't have kids, I don't need to prepare. Well, you were a mom, or you are a mom, and I'm an orphan. You said you lost your mom, and I know your daughter lost her dad. But there's a story behind that. Now you don't have to take all day, but you can tell us 2 to 3 minutes about that story about Jordan's dad. What happened? What transpired? And how you were able, or you guys were able as parents, to put something in place? Because too many times, I recently went to a funeral where the young man who passed had no life insurance, and people had to chip in. And especially in Black churches, you got to do a fish fry, a bake sale, a Cash App, a Venmo, a Zelle, a this or that. But I want to talk, before we talk about income protection, debt limitation, legacy creation, I do want to talk about that real quickly, that your daughter lost her dad. And there's a story behind that. You got about 2 or 3 minutes to minimize the story, but tell us a little bit about what happened there.
Yeah, quickly, 40 days before high school graduation, Jordan, my daughter, lost her dad really suddenly. And going back to when she was probably 9 months old, we made a stop going to New Jersey and stopped in to see Mr. Anthony Stewart and one of the former business partners of ACA. And luckily, we had gotten a policy written on Jordan's dad. That was, like I said, in 2003. Didn't really think about it. It was a term policy through one of the former carriers that we partner with, CNA. I think he was paying $35 a month, paying the premium, put it in a drawer. I had a policy. He had a policy. We both made each other the trustee on the policy, because Jordan was the beneficiary on the policy. Like I said, pretty much well, I've forgotten about it. But when that happened, when Jeff passed, even though the money couldn't bring him back, it still allowed Jordan, because she was determined at that time to still leave and go off to college, live in her own apartment, get herself a car, and all those things. And it, like I said, it didn't make the sadness and the hurt, the loss go away, but it did make some things go smoother for her in her life. So I will tell any and everyone, anybody who has children, grandchildren, get a policy. If you are out here and you have made a child with someone that you have chosen not to be married to, y'all should at least be able to come to an agreement that you will get insurance policies on each other and make those children the beneficiary on those policies. It is not a curse. I'm talking to my folk, my community. It is not a curse to get life insurance on yourself or your children, because those are the objections that our people in our community give folks when they come talking about insurance. Oh, don't talk to me about life insurance. You trying to curse me. This is going to make me die sooner. Okay. That is foolishness, and that is craziness. And then to the ones who say, oh, well, if I die, I don't want to leave nobody with anything. That's very selfish, and you need to reevaluate some things about your life.
Preach.
Okay. But listen, a $10,000 policy, whatever it is, listen, folks, get some coverage. GoFundMe needs to be put out of business when it comes to needing it to bury your people.
That's right. That's right.
Okay? We don't want to see that. I refuse to contribute to those.
So do I.
Because it's not necessary. Start young. start with a child policy now on your children so that when they turn, what is it, 23, 25, the policy becomes theirs, and then they can do what they need to.
Yes.
And keep paying those premiums.
Exactly.
Okay. Serious business, y'all. Serious business.
I'm glad you said that, Erika, because one of the things, some parents don't realize, you may have adult children, and if you don't think they're responsible enough, you keep being the owner, and then you can always transfer it to them. But I think it's important. You made a valid point. When you guys got this stuff, Jordan didn't want to lose a dad. Nobody wants to lose their dad.
No.
And even with my children, they have stuff in place, and I have stuff in place, and their mother has stuff in place as well. And I think it's paramount that people realize that you have to put it. Now, I disagree with you on something, Miss Freeman. I don't think you ought to be getting 10,000. I think minimum 250 grand. And I think if you're making over 50 grand, you need 2 million. Because I'm going to tell you a quick story. I'm not going to call any names. In the last 3 years, I've known 3 people. One of them is my best friend. He lives in Greenville, South Carolina, have suffered strokes. All of them, the people who suffered the strokes, who've been under 50 years old. And guess what? None of them had any kind of living benefits. Actually, the most recent one contacted me in 2022, and we had some conversations, and every time I tried to meet with them, there was an excuse. Recently, I think a couple of months ago, they suffered a stroke, and now they're recovering, and I feel bad for them, and I pray for them. And they have some issues going on. I think their spouse recently got laid off by the federal government. So my point I'm trying to make here is that there's funds you could have access through living benefits. And we talk about income protection, debt elimination, and legacy creation. I have 2 sisters who are breast cancer survivors. They didn't have living benefits. What my daughter does, my mother does. And it's important to make sure that they do that, because I'm not saying only women get breast cancer, men do too, but it could be, I don't care, breast cancer, stroke, you become a quadriplegic, brain aneurysm, lupus, it's a plethora of things that you need to protect yourself with, folks. And it's important. And Erika is not selling. She's not endorsing me. What she's saying, well, she probably will endorse me because she knows we were the same IMO. But the point I'm making, she's telling you to put something in place. And I agree. And what hurts me is that in 2025, this last month, in January, I had a little small health scare. I was hospitalized for 1 day. No, I'm still insurable. It was nothing serious. But my point is, what if it was something serious?
Right.
The important thing, folks, is to make sure that we protect. But check this out, everybody. Miss Erika ImSoReal Freeman is my special guest. I want to say welcome to Joyce, Fireman, and I see Katina Williams, I think, Fletcher Freeman.
Yes.
A whole bunch of people here. I think there's
Joyce and my Uncle Haywood. They're my parents.
And
Katina Williams is my high school classmate.
All right. I see preacher on there, Miguel Sarant. How you doing, Pastor? And I see, Petra all the way in the Caribbean. There's people watching from Dominica, the Virgin Islands, New York, Florida, Massachusetts. Sometimes they watch out of England, Mexico, Canada, all over. And the reason why they watch is because I keep talking about the same 3 things over and over. Erika, I put something in the, we are part of the leadership team at work, you and I put something in the group chat. I don't know if you saw it. Even if you didn't read it, it's okay. It's about debt. Yes. And debt is paramount in this country. Everybody has credit card debt. Not to put my daughter's business out, but she had some credit card debt, and she just used what we do to eliminate her debt. She just did that a couple last week. And I'm so proud of her. So what would you tell people out here who are watching this show tonight? And some of them have debt. Some of them pretend they don't have debt, but everybody got a mortgage. Most people have a car loan. Some of you also got student loans. My best friend is like in his 50s, and I think he was going to medical school back in the day, but he still has some kind of medical student debt. My point I'm trying to make here is that what would you tell people about debt and how it's a financial cancer and how that can be eradicated if they know the right people to talk to.
Yeah, I mean, any of us, if you owe someone or a creditor or creditors are calling you, that's adding to stress. Okay, stress will make you sick.
That's right.
So, one of the opportunities that you have working with any agent from American Classic Agency is to participate in a debt elimination program, not a debt consolidation, but a debt elimination. And it uses a life insurance policy as the catalyst to help pay down your debt. In some cases, people have been able to pay down their mortgage, car loans, student loans, all that stuff that H just talked about in 9 years or less by using the cash value that builds up in your life insurance policy. And I could be using the wrong terms, but so pardon me, but using that
You're using the
money
right
to pay
terms.
down those debts. Yeah, to pay down those debts and then freeing up more money for you to go and do other things that you may do. But the article that H shared with us was saying that most Americans aged 50 years or older are in some sort of credit card debt or are using their credit cards actively right now in day-to-day life just to be able to take care of necessities because money is tight and they've got to use their credit card to float them to buy food or to put gas in their car and all of those things. And it's affecting a lot of people. And like you said, some people may not want to share that because
Right,
sometimes
right.
people are ashamed of having debt, but it's real. It's something we all have.
It's so funny you said that. I want to say welcome to Cavell Scott who's watching. I do see one of my church members, Miss Deborah Whitfield, is watching as well. And there's a bunch of other people watching. Some of you I can't see. If you didn't say hello, I can't give you a shout out. But welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. My special guest is Erika Freeman. She just talked about debt. As a matter of fact, that concept you just talked about, I'm going to introduce that to my church. I'm the chair of the finance committee. And actually, some of them, I'm going to invite them to our Get Out of Debt that we have in next week so that they can see how the presentation works. And then we'll do a presentation. I might bring Mr. Stewart or somebody or Bob with me to do it because I don't want, because talking about the church, what does it say? The Bible say a prophet is not welcome in his own land, right? So we got to bring someone else to do that. But debt is real. It's a financial cancer. I can tell you, Erika, last month I paid off all my credit cards and I'm tempted to want to use it, but one of our business partners is watching right now said, hide it. You know, I still walk with them. I need to hide them because what it does is, you know, obviously it affects your credit if your utilization is high, you know, and one of the important things we have to do is to make sure that we're doing the right things by eliminating our debt so that we can do the fun things we love to do, which is like some of you like to travel, go to Vegas, Jamaica, Dubai, all that stuff. You have more disposable income. And some of you, when you have no debt, you can give better to your church as well because a couple of pastors are watching. And maybe I need to come to Miguel. If you're still watching, you need to invite me to First Church so I can come and do a presentation on debt elimination for your congregation so that I know that they return their tithes and their offerings. But imagine if they have more, they give more. And that's just my plug. But Erika, it's so funny. You talk a little bit about legacy creation because you talked about your daughter losing her dad. And the time is running on us so fast. But you know what? I as a woman, you know, I'm not a woman, but I have a wife. I have a daughter. I have 6 sisters. I have had aunts and a whole bunch of women cousins. And most of my friends are women. My best friend is a dude. But, you know, as a woman, you know, for Women's History Month, who was the catalyst in your life? I don't know, a teacher, your mother, your grandmother, somebody that pushed you to excel academically and professionally. And who is that person you want to pay honor to tonight as we celebrate you, you know, as for Women's History Month? Was there a woman in your life that did that for you? Who was that?
Definitely. Primarily my mother, Estella Freeman, Estella Brown Freeman from Jacksonville, Florida. She lived in an area they called Out Home.
Okay.
And like I said, she raised the 3 of us all on her own. And I don't remember a time of not hearing my mom tell me and my brothers, you're either going to go to college or you're going to go to the military. And she used to say, I don't know how we gonna pay for it, but if you want to go to college, you're gonna go to college. And so my older brother earned a scholarship to play football at the Florida State University. And then 4 years later, I applied and was able to enter here at Florida State. And then a few years after that, our younger brother, after at 16 suffering a brain aneurysm,
Wow.
and had to learn how to walk all over again and talk, all of his football aspirations went out of the window. But he was, by the grace of God, was able to heal and get himself back, get back on track. And then he attended Florida A&M University, which is also here in Tallahassee. And all three of us graduated from college. And it was not easy. There were some rough times, but my mom was able to see all three of us finish our college degrees. And like I mentioned earlier, we were blessed to have my Uncle Haywood and my Aunt Joyce. Haywood is my dad's younger brother. And then on my mom's side, my Uncle Vernon and my Aunt Letha, that were very supportive. And they always encouraged my mom and helped whenever they could. They stayed connected to me and my brothers, and they have really been an additional support system for us. And that has made a great impact. My mom was a hardworking woman, and she did the very best that she could. And she will tell you she probably could have done better, but she did the very best that she could. And she remained a dedicated mother until the day she took her last breath. We were, even though we were grown and had our own children, she was still mama.
All right, Miss Brown Freeman. Homage to her. Homage to her. Rosa Gonzalez says Puerto Rico. She might be in Puerto Rico. Hey, can I come to Puerto Rico? But anyways, my special guest this evening for Women's History Month is Miss Erika Freeman, Vice President of Communications at American Classic Agency, the company that cares. And Erika, you just talked about how your mother was instrumental in bringing up you and your brothers, and she encouraged you all to excel academically. You all graduated from college, But are there your daughters now in college and all that good stuff? But my question to you is, though, how important do you think it is for women to mentor younger women? In the church, usually deaconesses try to, I remember my mother. I'll give you an example. My mother was a deaconess, right? And if you came to church, I pick on my mama because she's dead, and she can't give me a backhand. But she'd give you a scarf to put around your neck right now. She said, Erika, you're gonna catch a cold. It's like 90 degrees outside. If you had some, your legs were showing. Oh, you're gonna catch a cold. She put a scarf over your legs. But these women, they mentored other women.
Yes.
So how important do you think it is mentorship for women, especially, I'm talking about any woman. I don't care what your ethnicity is, but you're an African-American woman, and I think it's important that you continue to be a trailblazer. But how important it is for you to be a mentor or a role model to other young women as they come, your daughter included, because you made a post on Facebook today. I'm not going to read it, but you said something about how when you and your girlfriends go out, or your sister, you all walk each other to your cars. Ain't nobody slipping funny, going with no crazy person. How important is it for women to mentor other women, especially for Women's History Month? We just celebrated Women's Day last Saturday.
So very important, H. Me and my daughter, we were just talking about this right before I got on. And one thing I've tried to make sure is that I've taught her that your connection with other women, whether they are the same color or race as you or the same religion, is very important. I kind of find myself, I call them my giving even to her friends. Even from high school, there are kids that were her classmates that have attached themselves to me, and they call me mom, because they never had someone who would sit and listen to them. Or part of the ImSoReal part is just being very honest and giving my daughter the real taste of what real life experience is going to be. Part of that was being transparent with my daughter about things that I've experienced in my life, but I had to keep in mind it needed to be age appropriate. So once she got to that stage of, the boys are coming around, and I talked about my personal experiences, and having a mentor, whether it's professionally, if it's spiritually, is so very important. I talk about my Aunt Joyce to everyone. She was the person that really helped me through probably the hardest times that I've had in my life, because my mom had a substance abuse issue. So those times when I couldn't talk to my mom, or she was just not in the right state of mind, I knew I could go to my Aunt Joyce. She's the person that introduced me to having a relationship with God and becoming a member of my church and being active in my church. All those things are important. So even if church is not your thing, you can always look to find someone to mentor you or be a mentor to a younger woman. Okay. To hear that young lady they're still looking for her in the Dominican Republic because her friend group let her go off by herself with someone. Wow. And she got in the ocean at 2:00 in the morning. Wow. And now they're looking for her body. That should have never happened. Her friend group failed her.
Sad.
We've got to learn to stick together. If someone is your friend, we grew up calling them homegirls.
Right.
Nowadays, they're your bestie. I feel like homegirls are a little more solid. Okay. But having a mentor, having others to support you when you are a woman, and there are other women that have similar. My friends, Rosa and Carolyn, we became friends because our kids went to school together.
Okay.
And if you see us together, you would think we've known each other 20 years. I've met them 5 years ago.
Wow.
But right now, if I decide to drive to Jacksonville, I have 2 places I can go and stay. Okay. Because they are my homegirls. We look out for each other, and we support each other, and we encourage each other. So, Women's History Month, yes, right now at a time where they're making it feel like being a woman isn't a good thing, it's the best thing out there right about now.
And I'll tell you, like I said, a mother, 6 sisters, a wife, a daughter, a whole bunch of friends and cousins and nieces and aunties. So I like I said, I mean, I'm glad I'm a man, but if I was a woman, I'd be more successful in this business because I know I'd be killing it, because the ladies are killing it. For those of you who joined us late, my special guest is Erika Freeman, Vice President of Communications at American Classic Agency, and my business partner here, who's actually, helps me out a lot when I need something. I always give her the sweet compliments when I want something, and she knows that. But it's genuine, But sometimes I put a little extra on it, when you want something, they say you get more flies with honey, So I do that, but no, I mean, she would still do it because that's what we do for work. But Erika, American Classic Agency, the company that cares, Middle America is our client base. We're not getting the ballers, the shot callers, the 1%ers, But I think it's really important that our mission stays how it is, helping families with income protection, dental elimination, and legacy creation, and we are agents of change. In 2025, we've put 1.5 billion with a B, $1.5 billion as our goal, so that we can put back into our communities transferable tax-free wealth into our communities. And the American Classic Agency, we live that, we breathe that, and it's really important. So tell the women out there, if somebody, you did a little of it earlier, but tell the women out there why ACA is the place again. This time you have a minute to tell them. Tell them why ACA is the place for women.
So just think about, if you already have a full plate, but you want a supplemental income, you make your own schedule. It can be, you can do like the event that's coming up in Maryland this Saturday, started off as just one agent decided for her customers, she would give them a manicure pedicure session to say thank you. And it's turned into a big free conference where there'll be over 300 women in Oxon Hill, Maryland this weekend, and they do this twice a year.
Right.
To not only appreciate clients, but also share the information about making sure that you start somewhere with securing your future, to help people learn about their finances, wills, all that stuff. So if you're looking for a part-time income, this is a great way. You study for your license, get licensed. Some states you have to do fingerprints.
Like
and then
Florida,
you're in business.
like
Plug
Florida.
into training. That's it.
You know, it's so funny you said that. I tell people, if I could have passed this exam, anybody can pass it. I'm not a smart guy. I'm just better looking than everybody else. And the good thing about it is, you know, if I can do this, you can do it. And I think, you know, especially if you're a woman. And my team, we're looking all over the country, looking to build our team bigger and bigger. And thank you for that little plug there. But you know what? We're celebrating you. We're celebrating you. You're vice president. I should call you Madam VP from now on. You know, maybe I give everybody a nickname. Maybe I give you Madam VP or something. But you know, you've been there for 25 years. You know, with a company. You know, some of your colleagues have been there longer than that, like Maria. You know, Pam just retired, and you know, I'm thinking about the ladies. You know, who've been there a long time. And our special guest next week. You guys, before we go, I'll tell you who it's going to be. She's from American Plastic Agency as well, and she's been there for a while. But the important thing, I wanted to ask you, you know, as time is running away from us, you know, is that we talked about, you know, protecting your income. We talked about eliminating debt. We talked about legacy creation, especially with what happened with your daughter's dad. But as a woman, and as you celebrate you, what is your most I don't want to say proudest moment as a woman? It might be motherhood, but what is your proudest moment as a woman?
Yeah, my greatest accomplishment is my daughter. She is, you know, a lot. You hear people say, "Oh, having a child saved me," and sometimes it's very cliche. But I was working at ACA when I got pregnant with Jordan, and I had Jordan at 30 years old in 2002, and I probably would have floated from around for several jobs if I didn't become a mom.
Right.
So she's definitely kept me grounded, and she's a very genuinely sweet young lady. And she has respected me, and she understands that there is no playbook to be a parent, and that I would not always get it right. Sometimes I handle things the wrong way. But one thing about it, when you become a mom, that's unconditional love, that no matter what you do wrong, if you fuss at them, if you have to spank them or beat their behinds, whichever one you call it, even if you have to use some cuss words, they're still going to love you. And that's not to say mistreat your kids, because they're going to love you anyway. But I have to say, I'm very proud of the young lady, the young woman that she is becoming.
Oh, Jordan, yeah. I know you're watching, and I know you heard that, Jordan. And I know she knew that already. But I think I knew that was one of your proudest accomplishments. But professionally, you know, you're a VP now, you're a big shot. I gotta call you Miss Freeman now. Hey, Miss Freeman, can I get Miss Freeman? I need Miss Freeman. Even like yesterday when you helped us with that letter, I didn't say Miss Freeman. No, now you know whenever I need something, I'm gonna be like Miss Freeman now. That's what I'm gonna be saying. Miss Freeman, I need. Miss Freeman, I need. But check this out. You know, I tell people, walk a mile in my shoes. You know, there's a song I like to play a lot all the time. It's a reggae song by Mikey Spice. It says "Walk a Mile in My Shoes." A lot of people don't realize that, you know, women have so much to go through. You know, first of all, y'all are not treated fairly. Back in the day, you were doing more work. You're doing the same job, and even today, sometimes, you know, women get paid less for the same jobs as dudes. And in some cases, in most cases, they're probably more educated as well. You know, and you have to be resilient and understand the big picture, you know, because as a mother, you have to make sure you were grounded for your daughter. and as you continue to mentor young ladies, your friends' daughters or children, it's really important for that. But our time is running from us. We only have 6 minutes to go. And I tell people, walk a mile in my shoes. If someone had to walk a mile in your shoes, Erika, what would they find out?
Oh, well,
you.
I may not answer the question that you're asking, but when I started at ACA, we were not a Black-owned company. Okay. I spent many years as the only person of color in the home office.
Uh-huh.
All right. I've had agents who didn't want to shake my hand. I had agents who, when they met me in person, they didn't believe that I was Erika Freeman, who they'd been talking to on the phone for months and sometimes years before we actually had a personal meeting. Because just think, websites and all of that, websites didn't have the website we had.
No Zooms, no nothing.
Yeah, no Zoom, you're on the phone.
Right.
And so the journey that I've had has really built me. And I've had some times where I personally felt like I was defending myself against people who were intimidated, because that's really what it was, because of the color of my skin.
Right.
And to be able to rise above that and to hold my own and to continue on. And then now see the company transition from our beloved founder of ACA, Jerry Policastro, to Anthony Stewart, who has been like a big brother to me since I met him in person in March, like right after I started at ACA. In fact, I guess it would have been April.
Stewart, right?
Mr. Stewart was like, man, I'm going to miss Palm Sunday at my church. And I was like, oh, I'm going to church tomorrow or on Sunday. And he was like, what church do you go to? And I said, Robert Mount Pisgah AME. He was like, can I go to church with you? That Sunday morning, I got up early, went to pick him up from his hotel. He came and went to church with me. He got to meet some of my family members. So when y'all hear him call me Sister Freeman, says it because that day I had to read the scripture and all the kids were like, Sister Freeman, Sister Erika. So that's where Sister Freeman comes from. But my journey at ACA, to walk in my shoes at ACA, I mean, it's been some of everything. And I'm grateful for every last bit of it, the ups and the downs, the challenging times, to be able to work with Pam. Pam started 9 months after I started, and now she's retired. We're 39 days into being vice president. Kalinda started a year after I did. Maria was already at ACA when I started, and so and all the rest of the ladies. But those of us who've been there over 20 years, like it's really been, we're like family. Sometimes we absolutely love each other, and a lot of times we're like, okay, girl, all right, enough already. But it's all love. It's all love.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. The show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. My special guest is Erika ImSoReal Freeman. Our hour is coming, going. Erika, stay there, man. Stay there for me. I can't believe this. Can you hear me screaming from afar? Somebody help me from this height, don't want to fall. But if I do, would you catch me? Now take the whole thing from beginning. Pressing Tuesdays with Terrence, yes. With all the hits and lights and glamour, autograph to please you, again. You don't know what's up with me. Can't find food to feed my family. My life is like an open book. Erika Freeman says this. Walk a mile in my shoes. You would feel what I'm feeling. Where I'm standing, things don't look too good. No. Well, where she's standing now, things does look good. If you walk a mile in her shoes, you've done a lot. My special guest this evening was Miss Erika ImSoReal Freeman. The show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. She told you who influenced her mom. She talked about her daughter. We talked about her accomplishments here at American Classic Agency. And for those of you who watched tonight, Erika, I want to thank you for coming on. For those of you who watch tonight, share this live. Share this podcast so people can see, that if you stick to it, and you work hard, you can accomplish anything. My special guest this evening was Erika. ImSoReal Freeman. The show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is Terrence Bardui. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustains me. Erika, hold on for me for a moment as we close. Just hang in there. Thank you so much. Folks, listen, man. All I can tell you guys is simply this. You know what? You don't have to be a star to be on my show, but I have a superstar tonight. You don't have to have $1 million to be on my show. I can help everybody. I have clients who are millionaires and clients who are paupers. So tonight, like and share. And as my baby sister, Miss Mena, sings our theme song as we close, and it says you don't have to be a star to be on my show. You don't have to have $1 million. I say God bless you. And thank you for tuning in tonight. Erika, ImSoReal Freeman, Women's History Month. Thank you for coming in tonight. Here we go. Good night, everybody. God bless you. Hasta la vista. Woo! Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in. Like and share if you may. Come, family. Good night.
Come as you are, with just your heart, and I'll help you win. Are you rejected or hurt? To me, your word much more than you put in.
I don't need no superstars, but I have one tonight.
I don't need no superstar, 'cause I'll accept you as you are. You won't be denied, 'cause I'm satisfied with the help that I can provide. You don't have to be rich family to be on my show. You don't have to have $1 million family to be on my show.
Boom, that was my baby sister, Miss Mena Thomas. Tell you don't have to be rich, you don't have to have $1 million. Next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, my special guest will be Miss Kalinda Anglin, Vice President of Marketing at American Classic Agency, as I celebrate the women in my industry. Good night. God bless you. Thank you. Until next Tuesday. Hasta la vista, babies. That's for you, Rosa.